Let us see how we can work with text in C#. The first type we are going to see is characters. In C#, characters are single alphabet or number or even numerics. So these are defined using the keyword char. We shortly call it as char. So for example, we can define char c equals a. So in this case, we are defining a variable called c of type character, and we are assigning a value a, which in this case is a single alphabet. Similarly, we can assign a digit. Say for example, character d equals. So this is a numeric digit. Similarly, we can assign even symbols. So these are the various ways we can assign a character and assign them to use these different types of values. Note that in C#, each character variable takes 2 bytes of memory. So if we define a variable called, say, integer I equals size of followed by char. So what we are trying to do here is size of is one of the operator available in C# which returns the amount of bytes which is used by whichever the type we define here. So in our case, we are going to check the size of char. So once you execute this, we can see that the value of I will be 2. So let's check the output maybe after some time. So this output will be returned as 2. Next, we look at one of the key type in C#, namely strings. Strings are basically a collection or sequence of characters. So for example, we have string s equals hello. Now this way we are defining a variable of s of type string and we are assigning a value hello. As you can see here, this string hello is a combination or it's a sequence of various alphabets, namely HELLO. So this is sequence of each individual characters. This together we call it as a string. So similarly, we can define another string, say s2 equals certain numbers, string s3 equals. Okay, so as you can see here, the strings can have even the numerics as well as the symbols. That's why it's considered strings as one of the most versatile type in C#. Now let us see how we can print these strings to the console. In C#, console refers to the terminal where we can print or execute certain commands. For this, we will use one of the .NET API called console.writeLine. As you can see here, the console is one of the standard class of the .NET and it has one of the function called writeLine. Maybe you can skip about these functions and this class for now, so that we are going to cover it at a later stage. Just know that console.writeLine is going to print whatever you provide it into the console. So if we give here hello world and then execute this program, then it's going to execute whatever is present inside this specific double quotes. Now let us build this project and run so that we can see these text in the console. So I go to this project, to the text, right click and say open in terminal. So I made this so that I can set the active directory to our current working project. Then we run the command using .NET run. So this .NET followed by the run command basically executes the current active project. So once you execute this, we can see that the hello world gets printed here. Same way we can use this console.writeLine to print our other string variables. So in our case we had defined s1, s2 and s3. So in Visual Studio Code, you can just use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V on these statements so that you can copy paste at faster rate. Now we have printed s1, s2, s3. Let's run it again. So as expected, we can see that it prints all the strings one after the other. This is hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stars. Let us now discuss about the different ways we can represent these strings in C#. The first one we have already seen, which is we call it as a string literals. So basically we have whatever the type we have seen before, like say string 1 equals say again hello. Now this one we call it as a string literal, meaning that whichever words we have between these two double quotes are called as literal strings. So all these examples we have seen so far, everything falls under this literals category. The second type which we have is something called as verbatim. So this one basically means that, say for example, we have say my folder test.txt. Now This is just one of my file path. I expect this one to be stored as one of the string. But as you can see here, the compiler tells that this is not valid. The reason being the slash is considered as the escape sequence. So it is interpreting that whatever /m and the /t all are referred as the escape sequences, which we don't want to appear in this instance. To tell this to the interpreter, what we need to do is we have to use the symbol at. The symbol at makes it that this string is a verbatim string, meaning that whatever comes, the escape sequences has to be ignored. So in this case, this entire string is considered as one single string. So this type is referred to as the verbatim string. Finally, we have the third type, which you call it as interpolated. This is one of the most recent addition and quite famous one, and personally I too like this type of string representation to be used throughout my program. These interpolated strings are defined by the symbol $, followed by the double quotes. Now here we can print like say hello world. Now you might be thinking that what is the difference here? The difference lies in the fact that you can print whatever you require, and these can be a variable names as well. So in this example, say I have str1. Now what it basically tells is that whichever follows the symbol $, and whichever the variable is coming inside these curly braces has to be replaced with corresponding values. So in this case, when you print this strt, what happens is it prints this hello. Then once it sees this curly braces, then it tries to evaluate this and prints its specific value. So in our case, it's like say again hello. So let's change, for example, this one as world. Now this one is considered as hello world. So when you print, this will print hello world. So the advantage of this approach is that you no need to go for complicated string concatenations or string format or any other ways. This makes the code very simple to use and simple to read as well. Now let us quickly go and print all these to the console. Again, console.writeLine. We have string1. I am going to Control C, press enter, Control V, again Control V. So string2 and string3. Let me correct this comment as caps. So we have literal, we have verbatim, we have interpolated. So we are printing all these three. So I'm printing control single quote, bringing up the terminal. I am printing CLS to clear the window, and then again I press .NET run. Okay, so as you can see here, we have printed the first string world, then followed by the path, followed by hello world. That's all for this video. If you want to learn more about C# basics, enroll for free in my C# basics starter course by clicking the link in the description below.